Have you ever wondered why we celebrate love on the 14th of February every year? What's the story behind Valentine's Day? Let's take a journey back in time, to the ancient city of Rome. Picture this. It's the 15th of February. The air is filled with anticipation, and the city is buzzing with the excitement of Lupercalia, a yearly fertility festival. This was no ordinary celebration, but one dedicated to Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture, a significant figure who was believed to bestow prosperity and productivity on the land. But Lupercalia wasn't just about agriculture, it also paid homage to the legendary founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus. As the story goes, these twin brothers were raised by a she-wolf, a narrative that was deeply interwoven in the fabric of this ancient festival. The rites of Lupercalia, full of symbolism and ritual, were believed to cleanse the city of evil spirits, releasing health and fertility in their wake. Now you might be wondering, what does an ancient Roman fertility festival have to do with Valentine's Day? Well, the connection isn't as far-fetched as it might seem. Scholars have long speculated that Valentine's Day could be a Christian adaptation of Lupercalia. As the theory goes, the Church may have placed the Feast of Saint Valentine in mid-February to Christianize this pagan celebration. But this is where things get a little murky. There's debate among historians about the validity of this theory, with some arguing that there's no evidence to prove a direct link between Lupercalia and Valentine's Day. Others, however, maintain that the timing and themes of love and fertility are too significant to be mere coincidence. In the end, the truth remains shrouded in mystery, lost somewhere in the sands of time. One thing is certain though, love and romance have been celebrated in the depths of winter for far longer than we might think. So Valentine's Day might have its roots in a Roman fertility festival. But where does Saint Valentine come into play? Who was Saint Valentine, and why do we associate him with this day of love? A question that takes us back in time to the Roman Empire, a period where love and war danced a perilous tango. It's here we find the story of Saint Valentine, shrouded in mystery, woven with romance, and tinged with sacrifice. There's no single, universally accepted tale of Saint Valentine, but the most popular legend paints him as a defiant priest in Rome during the 3rd century. Picture this. Emperor Claudius II, a man of war, believes that single men make better soldiers, so he forbids young men to marry. Valentine, a man of faith and love, sees the injustice in this decree. In the secrecy of whispers and candlelight, he performs weddings for young lovers, becoming a beacon of hope in a time of despair. But secrets have a way of coming to light, don't they? Valentine is discovered, arrested, and sentenced to death by the very emperor he defied. But our story doesn't end here. While in jail, so the tale goes, Valentine falls in love with his jailer's blind daughter. His affection is so profound that it miraculously restores her sight. Before his execution, he pens a letter to her, signed "From your Valentine," a phrase that echoes in the heart-shaped cards of today. And so, on February 14th, in the spirit of love stronger than death, Valentine meets his end. The Church later canonizes him, making him Saint Valentine, the patron saint of lovers. Yet the story of Valentine's Day is far from over. The association of February 14th with love and romance doesn't solidify until centuries later, but that's a tale for another time. But it wasn't until much later that Valentine's Day became a day associated with love and romance. So, as we exchange roses and chocolates, let's remember the legend of Saint Valentine, a man who believed in love so deeply that he was willing to die for it. So when did February 14th start to become a day for love and romance? The answer takes us back to the Middle Ages, a time when the concept of courtly love flourished. This was a form of love, often extramarital, that was expressed in the noble courts. It was characterized by chivalry, nobility, and often a sense of unattainability. Now let's introduce a man who played a significant role in linking St. Valentine's Day with romantic love, Geoffrey Chaucer. Known as the father of English literature, Chaucer was a prolific poet in the Middle Ages. In his work, Parliament of Fowls, he wrote about birds choosing their mates on St. Valentine's Day. This was the first ever recorded association of Valentine's Day with romantic love. Here we encounter a line that reads, "For this was on St. Valentine's Day, when every bird comes there to choose his mate." This poetic imagery of birds choosing their mates was a charming notion that caught the imagination of people in that era. But how did this idea manifest in real life? In England and France, a tradition began to take shape. Lovers began to exchange valentines, tokens of affection that ranged from simple handwritten notes to more elaborate gifts. This was a time when expressing one's love was not just about words, but also about the effort and thought put into creating these tokens. This tradition of expressing love was not confined to the noble courts. It permeated through different levels of society, turning February 14th into a special day for lovers to express their feelings. It was a day when both men and women could openly declare their affection, a practice that was not always common in those times. The tradition of expressing love on Valentine's Day was well and truly established in the Middle Ages. But how did it evolve into the holiday we know today? As we'll see, the Victorian era played a significant role in shaping the Valentine's Day traditions that we are familiar with today. But that's a story for the next scene. Let's fast forward to the Victorian era, a period known for its elaborate Valentine's Day cards. As the 19th century dawned, the Industrial Revolution was in its stride and the printing press was becoming more accessible. This gave birth to the first commercially printed Valentine's Day cards. Prior to this, lovers would pen their own sentiments in handwritten letters, but now they had a more convenient and ornate alternative. These Victorian cards were a sight to behold. They were not just simple printed messages on paper, but intricate works of art. Decorated with lace, ribbons, and delicate paper cutouts, they often featured romantic imagery like hearts, birds, and flowers. Some even had hidden panels or mechanical elements that would reveal a secret message or a pop-up surprise when opened. But it wasn't just cards that were exchanged. Valentine's Day started to become a time for gift-giving as well. Boxes of chocolates, wrapped in delicate silk ribbons and sealed with a loving kiss, became a popular token of affection. Flowers, too, were becoming a common Valentine's Day gift, and not just any flowers. Victorians were enamored by the language of flowers, a secret code where different blooms conveyed different sentiments. A red rose, for instance, symbolized passionate love, while daisies denoted innocence. A bouquet of violets meant that the giver's thoughts were occupied with love for the recipient. This secret language added a layer of intrigue and romanticism to the holiday, making it even more special. As the Victorian era progressed, Valentine's Day celebrations became more widespread and commercial. The holiday was no longer just about handwritten letters and private expressions of love. It was now a grand affair, marked with elaborate cards, thoughtful gifts, and a secret language of flowers. From handwritten letters to intricate cards, Valentine's Day celebrations were becoming more widespread and commercial. But it wasn't just in the West that Valentine's Day was celebrated. Did you know that Valentine's Day is celebrated differently around the world? In Japan, for instance, the day takes on a twist with a tradition called giri-choko. Women present store-bought chocolates to their male colleagues and friends as a gesture of friendship rather than romantic love. On the other hand, onmei choco is reserved for loved ones and is often homemade to add a personal touch. And the love fest doesn't stop at Valentine's Day in Japan. The country has a follow-up holiday called White Day on the 14th of March, where men are expected to return the favor by giving gifts to the women who presented them with chocolates on Valentine's Day. Now let's jet off to South Korea, where Valentine's Day is a month-long affair. Similar to Japan, women give chocolates to men on February 14th. The men reciprocate on White Day in March, but there's a third holiday for those who didn't receive anything on the previous two occasions. On April 14th, or Black Day, singletons gather to eat black noodles and mourn their solo status. While some countries have added their unique spins, others have embraced Western traditions. In Brazil, for example, they celebrate Dia dos Namorados, or Lover's Day, on June 12th, with music festivals and performances. However, with the influence of Western culture, many Brazilians now also commemorate Valentine's Day on February 14th. Over in Ghana, February 14th is celebrated as National Chocolate Day. It's a relatively new tradition, started by the Ghana Tourism Authority in 2007 to boost tourism. The day is marked with chocolate-themed restaurant menus, museum exhibits, and discounted chocolates. From east to west, Valentine's Day has truly become a global day of love. But what about today? In the digital age, has Valentine's Day lost its charm or gained a new dimension? As we dive into the 21st century, we find that technology has reshaped almost every facet of our lives, And Valentine's Day is no exception. In the digital era, expressions of love have taken on forms that would have been unthinkable in days of yore. Today, declarations of affection often come in the form of e-cards, filled with animated hearts and poetic verses. A simple click, and your heartfelt message is instantly delivered across the globe, a testament to the power of technology to bring people closer, regardless of distance. The advent of online dating platforms has also revolutionized the way we find and express love. Swiping right on a potential match has become a modern-day equivalent of exchanging glances across a crowded room. And when Valentine's Day comes around, these platforms see a surge in activity as people search for their special someone with renewed vigor. In addition, the digital age has brought forth a new form of gift-giving. Virtual gifts, from in-game items to digital art, have become increasingly popular as tokens of affection. These, along with traditional gifts, are often showcased on social media, turning personal expressions of love into public displays. However, the digital age hasn't just brought about new ways to celebrate Valentine's Day. It has also amplified the commercial aspects of the holiday. The proliferation of online advertisements and targeted marketing campaigns have turned Valentine's Day into a major commercial event, with businesses capitalizing on the sentiment of love to boost sales. This commercialization has attracted its fair share of criticism. Some argue that it detracts from the true spirit of the holiday, turning a celebration of love into a pressure-filled obligation to spend. Others, though, see it as an opportunity to express their affection in new and creative ways, from crafting personalized playlists to organizing virtual dates. Whether you're a fan or a critic, one thing's for sure: Valentine's Day has come a long way from its ancient Roman origins. Next time you celebrate Valentine's Day, remember you're participating in a tradition that spans centuries and cultures. Now, isn't that a lovely thought? We've journeyed through time, exploring the rich history of Valentine's Day, from its mysterious origins in the Roman festival of Lupercalia, to the romantic tales of Saint Valentine, through the Middle Ages and the Victorian Era, across the globe, and into the digital age. Each era has left its imprint, shaping Valentine's Day into the special day of love and affection we know today. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Do you have a unique Valentine's Day tradition or a special story to share about this day of love? Let us know in the comments below. We're sure your stories are as diverse and beautiful as the history we've just explored. If you've enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to hit the like button, share this video with your loved ones, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories like this one. Also, follow us on our social media platforms for updates and sneak peeks into our upcoming content. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of Valentine's Day. Remember to spread the love, not just on February 14th, but every day of the year. After all, love is a language that transcends time and borders, and it's something we can all celebrate, no matter where we are in the world.